Fast food today is all about speed and convenience. Quick burgers, fries, and maybe a soda if you're feeling fancy. But it wasn't always this way. Back in the day, fast food chains weren't just about the basics. They experimented with dishes that were unique, flavorful, and sometimes downright bold. From deep-fried desserts to sandwiches that turned heads, these menu items weren't just food, they were moments in time. Join us as we uncover 10 fast food favorites that are sure to spark some memories and maybe even make your mouth water. And wait until you hear about the fast food item that was so ahead of its time. It had a special container just to keep it fresh, and you won't believe why it disappeared. First up, we have Wendy's Super Bar. A time when Wendy's was more focused on bringing people in to sit down instead of quickly pulling in and out of a drive-thru. Introduced in the mid-'80s, the Super Bar was an all-you-can-eat buffet that felt more like a casual dining experience than a fast food pit stop. It had 3 distinct sections: Garden Spot for fresh salads, Mexican Fiesta for build-your-own tacos and nachos, and Pasta, serving up spaghetti with a side of garlic bread. For just a few bucks, it was a paradise for families, and a big hit with kids who loved having endless options. But despite its popularity, the Super Bar was a logistical nightmare. Employees struggled to keep the buffet stocked and clean, and the amount of food waste hurt profitability. By the late 90s, Wendy's decided to simplify operations and focus on their core menu, officially retiring the Super Bar. Still, for those who experienced it, the Super Bar wasn't just a meal, it was an event. Do you remember piling your plate high with spaghetti, nachos, and salad all in one sitting? Let us know in the comments. Next up, we have the Burger King Jumbo Sandwich, a blast from the past that's sure to spark some memories. Introduced in the 1960s, the Jumbo was a hot ham and cheese sandwich served on a soft sesame seed bun. It wasn't your typical burger, but that's what made it stand out. For a time, it was the perfect warm, gooey comfort food to pair with fries and a shake. But as Burger King expanded its menu and focused on competing with other chains, the Jumbo quietly disappeared in the late 1970s, leaving fans wondering where their favorite sandwich went. In 2014, Burger King briefly brought it back for a limited time, but it just didn't stick. It seems the Jumbo belongs to a different era. Do you remember unwrapping a Jumbo and savoring that classic ham and cheese combo? If this walk down memory lane is making you hungry for more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Speaking of sandwiches, here's one you might not expect: Kentucky roast beef. Long before KFC became the fried chicken empire we know today, they took a bold step into the world of roast beef. In the late 1960s, they opened a series of standalone restaurants called Kentucky Roast Beef, offering slow-cooked, thinly sliced roast beef sandwiches served on a soft bun, often topped with a tangy barbecue sauce. These separate locations were KFC's attempt to expand and give customers something new to sink their teeth into. The roast beef was tender, flavorful, and won over a loyal fan base. But the high cost of meat and the challenge of pricing these sandwiches for fast food customers made the concept difficult to sustain. By the end of 1970, all of the Kentucky roast beef locations had closed, and KFC returned to focusing on what they did best: fried chicken. Do you remember hearing about these unique restaurants, or maybe even eating at one? KFC today is known as the king of fried chicken, but back in the 70s and 80s, there was someone else trying to compete for the fried chicken crown: Hardee's fried chicken. Hardee's served this dish with fluffy, buttery biscuits that many still claim were some of the best in fast food history. In regions where Hardee's was more common than KFC, their fried chicken became a go-to for family dinners and Sunday picnics. But despite its popularity, Hardee's eventually shifted gears, deciding to focus on burgers and breakfast instead. By the early 2000s, their fried chicken disappeared from menus, leaving fans nostalgic for the days when you could grab a box of it with all the fixings. In the late 1970s, McDonald's introduced onion nuggets. These bite-sized, golden-fried chunks of onion were crispy on the outside, soft on the inside, and perfect for dipping in your favorite sauce. They were McDonald's attempt to offer a unique appetizer that wasn't fries, and for a while they had their fans. Some even compared them to onion rings, but with a twist. Unfortunately, onion nuggets didn't last long. When Chicken McNuggets came along in 1983, they quickly stole the spotlight, and the onion nuggets quietly disappeared from menus. Speaking of McDonald's, here's a menu item that was ahead of its time. Maybe a little too ahead. The McDonald's DLT, introduced in the mid-1880s, was McDonald's bold attempt to deliver the ultimate burger experience. The concept? Keep the hot side hot and the cool side cool. The DLT came in a special styrofoam container with two compartments, one for the warm burger patty and bun, and the other for the lettuce, tomato, and mayo, so nothing would get soggy. It was a clever idea, and many fans loved the fresh taste and the ability to assemble their burger right before eating. But despite its popularity, the DLT faced backlash for its environmentally unfriendly styrofoam packaging. By the early 1990s, it was phased out, marking the end of this unique experiment in burger freshness. As you're about to notice, McDonald's has a history of experimenting with different dishes. In the 1980s, they decided to branch out from burgers and fries and introduce something unexpected: the McDonald's pizza. Yes, you could walk into your local McDonald's and order a full-sized pizza, freshly made and served hot from the oven. The idea was to attract families looking for a dine-in experience, offering something everyone could share. The McDonald's pizza had its fans too. It was cheesy, crispy, and came in classic toppings like pepperoni and sausage. But there was one big problem: time. The pizzas took around 11 minutes to cook, which didn't fit the fast food model customers had come to expect. By the early 2000s, the McDonald's pizza was pulled from nearly all locations, though a few restaurants in the US kept it on the menu for years as a novelty. Taco Bell might be known for tacos and burritos, but back in the 1970s, they tried something a little closer to a burger: the Bell Beefer. Picture this: all the classic Taco Bell flavors you love, like seasoned ground beef, lettuce, and diced onions, served on a soft hamburger bun instead of a tortilla. It was essentially a taco turned into a sloppy Joe, and for a while it was a hit. So why did it disappear? As Taco Bell leaned further into their identity as a Mexican-inspired chain, items like the Bell Beefer didn't quite fit the brand anymore. Mid-90s, it was gone, leaving fans to reminisce about their favorite taco burger hybrid. Did you ever try a Bell Beefer, or is this the first you're hearing about it? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe if you're enjoying this trip through fast food history. Finally, let's make some room for a dessert item. In the early 1990s, Dairy Queen introduced the Breeze, a frozen yogurt treat that was meant to be a lighter alternative to their iconic Blizzard. Just like the Blizzard, the Breeze was packed with mix-ins like Oreo crumbles, Reese's Cups, or brownie pieces, but it was made with frozen yogurt instead of ice cream. The Breeze was perfect for customers looking for a guilt-free indulgence. At least that was the idea. But despite its promise, the Breeze didn't last long. Why? It turns out that customers overwhelmingly preferred the richer, creamier Blizzard, and the Breeze couldn't keep up in sales. By the late 1990s, it was quietly phased out. And there you have it. Fast food favorites that are no longer with us, but definitely not forgotten. From bold experiments to nostalgic classics, these items remind us of a time when fast food was full of surprises. Which one of these do you miss the most, or is there a forgotten favorite we didn't mention? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your memories.